Hi, one of the things that I want to talk about today is painting wood cabinets or paneling. One of the most important things is to find a good painter that knows what they're doing. What you can see here is that the painter has caulked all of the seams and all of the cabinet doors. Now what they're going to do next is they're going to prime these, sand them, and then paint them. But actually putting this caulk in here will hide any little imperfections. Maybe the cabinets are old and they've warped over time. To give you an idea of the seams being caulked, they put the filler right here and then also here on the top, and then they go over and sand that, and then they paint it with a primer, then they sand it again. It's a multi-step process. So the painters have taken off these shelves, and I just want to show you something. I don't know if you can quite see it with what I'm seeing here, but the sun has actually faded this stain pretty significantly, and you can see where the shelving was and then where the sun has actually dyed the color of the stain. So these cabinets really do need a fresh coat of stain or paint, and in this case they're going to get painted. One of the other things that the painters will do is they'll actually take the cabinet doors off, take the hinges off, and then spray paint those separately. So whenever they go back on, there's no missing paint inside on the doors. Another trick when renovating your home is the possibility of painting your plantation shutters. Now this process is done just the same as painting the wood cabinets or the wood paneling in a room. My painter that I have is fabulous, and he does a really great job. What they do is they take these off, they sand them, they spray them with their paint guns and sand them down where needed. They maneuver them to make sure that they still move, and then put them back, and it matches the room after you've painted it. You don't need to replace these, but it's gonna look completely perfect whenever it's done. And it's gonna be interesting to see the final finished product. So when installing nailed down hardwood floors, there are many things that come into play because the wood floors have a subfloor and then the floor laid on top, they're actually higher. One of the things that's not really thought about is sometimes the doors have to be raised and the baseboards have to come off and get put back on. And in this case, this 4-inch baseboard came off. And when the 4-inch baseboard came off, and now there's an inch of wood floors, we have a problem here where the electrical outlets are going to get covered up by the baseboard. This is the baseboard that was existing, and now you see when we put it back on top of the wood, it covers up part of the plug, which we don't want. So we're going to have an electrician come in and raise these plugs so that the baseboard doesn't need to be notched out. Now, one of the things the contractor asked was, do you want us to cut the baseboard and have the plug sit in the baseboard? We didn't like that option. The other option was to cut off the plate right here. So then you see that, which wasn't a good option either. So the option that we chose was really, in my opinion, aesthetically the right option, and that is to completely remove the plug, raise the plug, which involves a little bit of patching and texturing under here, and then putting the baseboard back, and then the plug will be moved up. So this is just one of the little nuances that does happen whenever you install the wood floors. So we've just laid about 2,000 square feet of wood floor in this space. And I want to show you one of the things that this contractor did with the wood floors. Very impressed with what they did. They've laid all the wood floors, raw wood. They've come back with a light coat of what is called wood filler. And they have gone through all of this floor, putting wood filler down on the raw wood. Now they're going to come and sand it all off of the top with all the little holes being filled with the wood filler. And then the next step is to stain the wood. And we have some samples here that we've chosen. But just a nice coat of wood filler is going to seal all the little imperfections, the little cracks where the wood has expanded and contracted, which does happen. It did happen in this floor, and there were some spots that definitely need filled. But instead of going in one by one, They just put an entire coat over all of this, and now they're gonna sand it off today, and then they're gonna stain it. We're not doing a scrape on this wood floor, so this is gonna be a smooth finish. So it's gonna be pretty important to make sure that this is covered until the construction's finished, so that it doesn't get any little nicks or bumps. The hand scraping is actually done by hand with the workers on their hands and knees, literally hand scraping the wood, which is also a really nice finish as well, especially if you have children or pets. In this particular house, the designer chose smooth finish floors, and I think it's gonna look fabulous when it's finished. Another design option that our decorator had given us was, this house was older, maybe 25 years old. The rings around the can light have turned yellow because of the sun and age and with time. So the painters are actually going to paint those rings. They've painted this whole ceiling, and they're gonna pop those out and paint them. And it will definitely make it look newer as well. And that's very inexpensive because the painters are already here and they'll probably do it for free. So here in this master bathroom, we removed the fur down. And what a fur down is, it is kind of like a little extension, and there's usually a light in there, but it really made this room feel enclosed. So Lupe here has been doing the work, and he's removed the fur down, removed the can lights, and he's putting an electrical outlet for a nice decorative light to hang over the mirror. We're removing the mirrors and doing a smaller framed mirror, which is a more modern look. There have actually been 2 layers of wallpaper, which is kind of silly sometimes when you start pulling the wallpaper down and you see, oh, there was different wallpaper here before. But we're having all of that removed, retexturing, and then repainting. So you can see where the fur down was, and you can see the work that's involved in doing this. This certainly isn't an easy job, but it will make a huge difference to make your master bathroom feel much more updated and more saleable. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing something that's gonna put a hole in your wall unless you're in the process of maybe doing some other work. But because this kitchen needed to be retextured, what this homeowner has decided to do was to completely remove the 1980s intercom system that was here. I personally took this off myself. There were 2 screws, and then this plugged into the wall, and there was another one that plugged in. They just needed disconnected and then popped off, and then this is gonna go in the garbage can, and then the patch went on. And then they've retextured over the patch, and now they're gonna retexture the whole kitchen and then repaint. A lot of these intercom systems don't work anymore. The wiring is old, and you can certainly find new panels and new things for them, but if they just flat out don't work, a lot of people don't want to spend $5,000 to get the new paneling and the new equipment. But if you did, that's about what it costs. And for the sake of just being more modern and all of the wireless internet and speakers and sound systems that are out today, this homeowner just decided to have this patched and retextured. So this is definitely an option if you have the old box that you just don't want anymore. As you can see, we had some fun wallpaper in this kitchen too that got removed. So one of the things I want to talk about today is glass seal failures. It's something a lot of people have no idea what it means, but it pops up more often than not. Have you ever seen a window where it looks like there's a milky film in between? Or it looks maybe like there's water dripping in between that glass? Well, what that is the seal holding those 2 pieces of glass together to keep it clear has failed. And then the gas is no longer in between the 2 pieces. And when that happens, you start to see a milky color haze, or even a rainbow color haze, or water condensation. Basically what needs to happen to fix that is that particular pane of glass needs to be removed. They actually remove the glass from the outside with suction cups, and then they put the new glass in and then caulk it and seal it. And for one particular window like this is actually 2 pieces of glass. So if you have this piece that needs to be replaced and this piece that needs to be replaced, it's actually 2 charges for 2 separate pieces of glass, which sometimes people don't understand that as well. They think I have one window that's broken. This piece of glass could run anywhere from $100 to $150. It's not that expensive to get them fixed. And a lot of people, when they understand the minimal cost, they wish they would have done it earlier, because then they could have had a nice, clean, clear view out to wherever they were looking outside. If you'd like some more tips on how to make your home feel more fresh and modern, click on the information below. We would love to help you with some ideas that would give you a great return on investment if you are thinking about buying or selling soon.